Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love. My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Fenixx, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Tuesday, June 20th of 2023. Well, let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Well, as you can see, we are coming to the end of Gemini season. That's right. We're coming to the end of Gemini season, probably the last full day that this well, not probably the last full day that the sun will be into Gemini. And that means that we are approaching the solstices. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, we are approaching, that summer solstice. If you're in the southern hemisphere, we are approaching that winter solstice energy. Moon's going to be finishing up in Cancer today, and it's in the decan of Neptune. It's going to make a nice little trine over to Neptune later on in the day, around 27 degrees, right before it opposes Pluto. Now, the moon also will be coming into Leo later on today. I'll show you guys that aspect. But another thing I want to bring your attention to, which I failed to bring your attention to yesterday, was the fact that Jupiter at 7 degrees is still sextiling Saturn at 7 degrees of Pisces. This is sort of like a rare moment where we have like these two major planets, the two largest planets in our solar system, right? The two largest planets. Of course, you have the sun, but the two largest planets are actually in a harmonious trine. Oh, not trine, excuse me, sextile, and a harmonious aspect. Jupiter, of course, being here in Taurus, which is definitely wanting to expand upon what we see as valuable, what we want to grow, what we want to build. And then, of course, we have Saturn here at 7 degrees of Pisces. This definitely takes on this sort of spiritual nature. Remember how I said yesterday that we are being given options by the universe to really pick and choose what we want to grow, what we want to build, what we want to experience via the fact that Saturn is now retrograde in Pisces and is going through that review period. Well, here's the thing. Sextiling over to Jupiter, you're going to start to see, if you haven't already, start to see opportunities really pop up when it comes to what is that we want to build, what is that we want to create, perhaps meeting the right people too. Mercury went through this space as well. The North Node is still here in Taurus, where in the decan of Venus, and then of course you have Uranus here too, that's shaking things up. So there's a lot of this. It's the funny thing about this astrology that's been going on. I feel like there's just so much incredible opportunity, and the universe is just really saying, yo, I've given you this, I've given you this, I've given you this, I've given you this. But I think that we have it so much in our heads, and I think everyone has done this to some degree, but we have it in our heads that it needs to look a certain way when the universe is literally just giving us every opportunity to make this world a much better place and to create the lives that we really want. We can get caught up on our wounding with the Chiron element. We can get caught up on wanting to look for edge with the South Node and Scorpio element. So there's so much that is pointing toward just opulence, success, victory, like really actually, like, you want to do that thing, you want to live that particular lifestyle, you absolutely can do it. But it comes with a caveat, and humans hate caveats. The caveat is that it's not going to happen overnight. It's something that's going to take time to build. But if we really embark on that journey and take those necessary steps, we really can manifest the life of our dreams. You know what I mean? And a dream that's not, and like when I say like a dream too, because I mean, we have all this Piscean energy, I think what's problem is that we have these conflicting dreams right now, but the beautiful thing about the subconscious energy and stuff like that is that, like, the reason why this world somehow in a weird way works is because somehow on a subconscious level, we are all still working together. Even in the conscious and in the surface world and the waking world, it may seem like there's like all of this confusion and stuff like that. Still, ultimately, their teamwork makes the dream work. We all are making this life and this experience happen. Now, there absolutely is a battle and a war right now between the light and the dark. There absolutely is. But I feel like some people, there are some of you guys that are confusing other people for being dark when really they are just maybe influenced by it, as if you haven't been influenced by it yourself. So that's the thing about this. I felt like we're doing a lot of finger pointing as humanity right now, saying that, if you just did this one thing, the world would be a better place. Or if you just did this one thing, the world would be a better place. What about you, beloved? What about you? What can you do to make this world a better place? Why are you worried about this person that may live on the other side of the country, or even in another country altogether? And why are we so worried and focused on that? You gotta remember that sun is finishing up. It's going to be at these last degrees of Gemini. The last degrees of any sign are the most intense. Not only that, but it's in the decan ruled by Uranus. So there's definitely going to be this sort of collective energy here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some weird things pop off today, internet. Maybe some weird tweets that go out that maybe rile people up, but that happens literally every day. But just do not feed too much into that. Do not feed too much into that, beloved. Um, so yeah, we have an incredible opportunity here. Like I said, there's a 7 here. 7 is the number of Neptune. It's the number of Pisces in numerology. So it definitely takes on a spiritual nature. So yeah, the universe is communicating to all of us right now. It's like, yo, you have an incredible opportunity right now. Are you going to take it? And that's kind of the cool thing too. Is like there's not the pressure is a little bit off with Saturn. Yeah, there's always going to be some level of pressure with Saturn, but because now it's retrograde and it's moving backwards, the pressure is going to be off a little bit. So instead of having the malefic energy with Saturn, that's going to be it's still strong, but even though we don't have the malefic energy, it's the benefic energy that's moving forward, right? So although I do believe he's slowing down, Jupiter, hold on. Now he's still technically moving fast. Jupiter's still technically moving fast. So that's the thing about this. It's like the malefic energy is slowing down with Saturn, but the benefic energy is moving forward with Jupiter. So it's like we are being given such an incredible opportunity to affect incredible massive change in our lives. But I think sometimes we can have like these different blind spots, and trying to force things to look a certain way, right? Now, as you continue to move this day forward, I moved it by days instead of hours. Hold on. There we go. I got it fixed now. So as you continue to move this forward, you're going to see that moon is going to make a nice little trine over to Neptune at 27 degrees, right? So that's going to be a nice little energy to kind of give us a little bit of boost, and maybe we can actually feel that this dream is possible. You know what I mean? Especially since the moon will be in the decan ruled by Neptune. So, right. So there's going to be this element where we can feel like the dream, maybe this actually is possible. Maybe we actually can do this thing. Now, mind you, of course, with this energy, the moon is going to start to oppose Pluto again. And the moon was just like, oh, crap, I just dealt with years of going into my home sign and opposing Pluto. And I'm just trying to feel good. And Pluto's like, yeah, but what about this? What about that thing you had to transform? What about that thing you're invested in? What about that thing? What about this thing? What about that thing? So now we're going to kind of go through that again. So the moon's actually not going to have any void of course things, because Pluto is at the edge of Capricorn. Look at all this edge energy that we're going to have, right? We have 27. We have a moon that's going to be finishing up in Cancer. We have the sun that's going to be making its quincunx, the awkward stare, from across the room, like I keep talking about with Pluto. And of course, we do have Neptune, which is not going to go past this degree, but it's still in those last decans. And it is in the decan ruled by Pluto, right? It's in the decan ruled by Pluto. So there's there's a sextile here, but there's also, like I said, that moon is going to be opposing that energy. Not only that, but the quincunx is still building here between the sun and Pluto, and it will build throughout the day. So it's like we're being given a lot. We are being fed answers by the universe about where to go, how to move forward, right? But it doesn't look the way that we want to, right? It simply does not look the way that we want to. I think that emotionally, we can kind of see that the whole world is shifting, right? We can see that the whole world is shifting, and we're trying to figure out if there are really any aspects of the old world that we can even bring into the new world. I think that's what a lot of us are trying to figure out. or if there are maybe even people in the old world that we maybe want to kind of bring with us into the new world. Sure, we may be wondering, this may be an awakening moment for other people to realize that, hey, something's amiss here, right? Something's going on, you know? I think that this could be a day where people receive epiphanies, about where their blind spots might be, and how that has affected their ability to manifest. Said with that sun finishing up in Gemini and coming to that solstice point, right? Now, another thing I want to bring your attention to. So obviously, of course, we're going to have that opposition, right? And we're going to have 29, 29, 29. So we're going to have like this harmonic energy of the 2-9 energy. 2 plus 9 is 11. 11 in astrology, I want to say, is going to be more of a Chiron energy, but it's like this, it's this double one. It's the sun and the sun, right? So there's going to be this sort of element where, you know, there's definitely going to be some signs, I think, that come today. I think a lot of times people, especially in the spiritual community, get obsessed with like 11, 11, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, and all that sort of stuff. But today, don't be surprised if you see a little bit more of that, especially even with Vesta here, minor asteroid, that's also going to be at 29 degrees. So you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 energies at 29 degrees today. Now, the ones you're going to probably feel the most are going to be the sun and the moon, right? We feel those things the most. We have Pluto, which is a more generational planet. So you may see something play out on the world stage as far as that goes. But then you're also going to have Juno, which is the planet of marriage. And then you have Vesta, which is this energy where it talks about keeping the flame alive, keeping the flame alive. Vesta is about sort of like this energy of keeping the creative energy, keeping the spark of life, keeping that passion alive in many ways. Now, with it being 11, there's definitely going to be this moment where, if I were to, you know, bring 11 to like a particular point on what it could represent, I would say it's more of like the Virgo energy. And that's just because of learning. I'm not even going to take credit for that. That credit goes to Christopher Witecki in the STEP system. And that's something that I actually do believe. So I actually can see that definitely being a possibility. So it's all about the reality that we have already have manifested. So when you get 5 energies at the edge, excuse me, 6 energies, forgive me, we have Ceres also at 29 degrees of Virgo. So there's you have 6 energies at 29 degrees, 3 minor asteroids, but some of the more common asteroids that we follow, and then you have the moon, sun, and Pluto all at 29 degrees. So if Tuesday feels a little bit edgy, don't be surprised, especially because, yeah, we have some of these minor aspects. So this could be just like small little things that may just be slightly off here and there. I do not be surprised by that. I think what's happening on this day is that we are coming to terms with the reality of the world that we all have created through our conscious efforts and our subconscious efforts. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it, right? Now, what's interesting about this too is that as you continue to move this moon forward, it is going to come into a square with the nodes later on in the evening when it hits 2 degrees, which is going to invoke an emotional response, being that 2 in numerology is Cancer and it is the moon energy. So this is going to invoke an emotional response to whatever happens this day on how we come to the realization of the reality that we have built, either with just ourselves and then collectively too. This emotional response is going to be very, very important because it's really going to determine, especially I would say over the next, I'm hearing 6 months or so, is really going to determine, just you will know in 6 months based off of this day and maybe whatever decisions that you make or just what realizations you come to about your reality. You will know in 6 months whether or not you went down the right path or whether you took a detour. Because I wouldn't say that even wrong paths can be detours, and we all take detours in life, right? But this squaring of the nodes is going to bring us back to this point because this is also, you got to think about it, this is the last time that the moon in Leo will square the nodes in the south node and the north node in these spots, at least for the next until it comes all the way back around. So it's going to be a while, like the 2040s, like early 2040s is when this is going to happen again. Because when the moon comes back into Leo, the nodes will have shifted. It will still square, but the south node will be in Libra at 29 degrees, and the north node will be in Aries at 29 degrees, which is going to highlight this point again about the edge and about what we've manifested. So it's going to bring back that 29-degree energy, the edge. So it's going to bring all of that back. And you will, like I said, you will see, maybe you probably will see even more within the next 30 days on how what happens today and the realizations. I don't know if it's necessarily like we need to take some sort of insane action today. I think really today is going to be all about intention. I think it's going to be about seeing what we have already manifested in our life and the reality of it, and then just we have to accept it. First of all, if you don't accept the reality that you created today, you're probably going to suffer. I'm just going to be real. Even if the reality that you have manifested right now does not look the way that you want it, whether it's 20% of the way that you want, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 99%, there's always going to be some little splinter where it's like, man, I could have done more, could have done better. Today is a day about acceptance, but it's also about accepting that we can actually do more, we can build more, we can build better, and that this is not the final destination. This is just a stepping stone to a new tomorrow, right? Let's go ahead and get the cards for today. All right. Perfect example, right? I like when I got home. So I'm filming this like the night before, right? So but when I got home today from the gym, um, I didn't eat the best. I probably could have ate a little bit better. I ended up taking my shower and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, I had plenty of time to make other videos. I had plenty of time to work on other stuff. Yeah, I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I felt terrible. I felt bad. It's like, why would I squander the opportunity when I have time on my off day to do the thing that I want to make my day-to-day reality? Why would I squander that opportunity? I had to just take a deep breath, pause. I'm like, I'm gonna go for a walk. So I went for a walk, and that's what I did. I went for a walk, went outside, I got some fresh air, watched a bird flying around the sky, and I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. Let's just keep it moving forward. You know. So yeah, we have. Yeah, so we have actually the Nine of Cups in reverse. Yeah, so there's definitely could be a bit of frustration today when it comes to having the emotional fulfillment and actually manifesting the life that we want. But I felt like we are literally on the precipice of it. Do not give up, is what I'm hearing. Is do not give up. You can keep going. Yeah, so we also have the Seven of Wands here too. So yeah, some of you guys may go into a bit of a defense mode today. Maybe defending if you there's no need to even defend right now why you have created and manifested the life that you did. It just is what it is. Today is really all about acceptance. I'm gonna draw one more card. Yeah, we have the Queen of Wands also in reverse, right? So we have a couple of cards in reverse, right? We have Queen of Wands and the Nine of Cups in reverse, but that Seven of Wands is going to be upright. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a day where it's sort of like, man, in many ways, there's going to be a lot of people going into defense mode. Like, well, this is the reason why I did that. This is the reason why I did that. This is the reason why I manifested that thing. This is the reason why I am the way that I am. Yes, that all is in the past, right? Today is a new day. Tomorrow's a new day. We'll be coming into that solstice energy, right? So moving into June 21st, right? I think this is going to be a very positive moment to realize that, the past is the past and it is what it is. We can effectively move into the future, even if we're not feeling like we're always emotionally there, emotionally like intact. Even if we feel like we maybe not necessarily have the power to create, and maybe feel like we can create with that Queen of Wands energy. The Queen of Wands being in reverse is sort of like, you know, It's a queen that's afraid to enact on her intuition when her intuition is really what's going to bring about some amazing prosperous and some opulence to her queendom. That's what that Queen of Wands in reverse really is. She's probably sad because of the whole Nine of Cups energy. Maybe something didn't go right, maybe a marriage didn't go right, maybe a certain I don't know, maybe she's just feeling some sort of emotional, unfulfillment, if you will. But and then you have this sort of Seven of Wands energy, which is wanting to defend. If you're in defense mode today, I think today will be a great day to actually let your shields down. You know what I mean? Because you're still defending the old you. You're still defending the old paradigm. There's no need to defend it anymore. All we have to do right now is accept it and move forward. There's no need to defend it. That's where your power is going to come, is by lowering that shield, because there's no need to hold it up anymore. There's no need to hold it up anymore. I think this is also about standing on our truth. I think that's the powerful thing about the Seven of Wands upright, is that you definitely stand on your truth and stand on your convictions. Absolutely. You know, but there's not necessarily a need to have to defend the old you to you. There's no need for you to just be like, well, yeah, you didn't do that, and you didn't do that, you didn't do that, you didn't do that. It's like, yeah, but I can do this, I can do that, and I can do this. Some of you guys, especially when it comes to like wanting to better your lives, maybe you have stress and anxiety over these sort of things, right? Some of you guys are connected to a future version of yourself that is still ruminating on the past. Maybe it's time for you to connect to a future version of yourself that no longer ruminates on what went wrong in the past. And we all go through those periods, right? But maybe it's time for you to connect to a different version of yourself in the future. We always have to think that when we connect to our future selves and we're trying to channel that energy, that it's one solid thing, but it's not, because you're going to make mistakes in the future and stuff like that. But just ask yourself, who are you listening to? Oh, a card just flew out. It's the card I think it was. Oh, it's the card of coherence. This card is, whenever this card comes up in this deck, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a deep day. If you thought Monday was already like a day of like reflection and stuff, especially since it's Monday, so luminous, the day of the moon, now we get the card of coherence. The frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. The sun, which rules the heart, which rules Leo, is in the final degrees of Gemini. It's all about the mind. Mercury is there as well, trying to catch up. Not only that, but I didn't mention this, but Mercury is coming into a sextile with Mars as well. And it will be coming into a sextile with Chiron. So it's actually the midpoint between those energies. So yeah, there's definitely this element where if we can actually harmonize these energies of the heart and the mind, get the mind to stop, fixating on things being a certain way, and as well as getting the heart to accept that things may be a certain way and to not fixate on things as well, we can actually find this nice little middle ground where we can start to actually manifest things and get things on the same page. It's not easy always getting all aspects of you on the same page, like mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, metaphysically, psychologically. It's not always easy to get all these aspects of yourself on the same page. Today offers us a great opportunity to look in the mirror and see what we have become, but also realize that because these energies don't stay at 29 degrees forever. So just because we have become this doesn't mean that we have to identify with this, that we can actually realize that we are still mutable, we can still change, we can still move. The only thing that's not mutable about us is the fact that we are all infinite sparks of the divine, and that we all have infinite potential. That could be potential for good things or potential for perceivably bad things as well, right? It's really all dependent upon your perspective. I think today is going to give us some nice insight into who we have become. And if we fight too much against it, then we can find ourselves trying to defend who we have become instead of just embracing and accepting who we have become up to this moment, and realizing that, if this isn't necessarily up to our standard, and if we want to improve upon this, we absolutely can. And it won't happen overnight, but we absolutely can improve upon this. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I got for you guys today. I think it's going to be a positive day as far as like introspection, and maybe not like super, super introspection, but just to the point where it's like acceptance. I think if there's definitely a word for today, it's acceptance, right? And then that's where your power is going to come from today. That is going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. Be sure to hit the bell so you can receive all the notifications so you can check out my daily astrology content. And yeah, if there's anything, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to go over right now, but not at the moment as far as like all the admin other stuff. Check out my website. If you like a personal reading with me, you can follow the link in the description below. I do tarot, oracle, and astrology readings. I would definitely love to help you guide you through these moments and stuff like that too. So, and of course, I learn just as much as you do when I do these readings. So they're always very fun, very exciting and stuff like that. So anyways, y'all take care, stay blessed. I am rambling. I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.